Oh, hello and welcome to another episode of our Curse of Strahd Aviendahl campaign. My name is Xanny B. You may call me the Storm Meeple if you wish. And I will be your dungeon master for this session. Today we are going to be continuing on with our adventure. We have the absolute pleasure of inviting a new player to the board. So we're going to start the introduction with you today, I think. Our newest player. You don't have to say what your character is yet if you prefer to wait until the actual introduction of them into the game. But you can just tell us a little about yourself. So over to you, Dwayne.
Hi, my name is Dwayne, otherwise I'm known as Shadow for tons of years. I've been playing D&D for a while, role-playing even longer than that for probably about 20 years, mostly MMOs and stuff, but I got my TMNT and Other Strangeness, a game from way back in the days where you was basically Dungeons and Dragons, but you were playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I love that.
Thank you. The character I'm playing is a bard, College of Eloquence, with a charlatan background. Generally known as Sid, but for tonight, he will be known as his alter ego, Vladislav. And I'll pass it along.
Fantastic. Next up, Luea.
Hello, I'm Luea. I play KENARI. She is our Dragonborn Ranger, and her goat companion, Daisy. And I feel like I've done the pastry thing for the last 3 streams, so fun fact about her is that she mutters in Draconic, and always forgets that some people can understand her.
Perfect. And finally, lastly but not leastly, we have Nick.
Playing ZARRIEL, a divine-soul sorcerer starting and continuing obtaining his power in more ways than one, looking to find a way to get away from this accursed land, as it's getting on his nerves.
Perfect. Our adventurers are currently have not met with Sid yet, so there'll be time for that in very, very shortly. Our other player today, it's just Bob or Susanna, cannot be here today, unfortunately. So for the third time, I will be playing Tim Steele for him and playing his part, which is a lovable little slime who wears a little hat and flays around on a makeshift little magic carpet and spits fireballs at me, Kirby style. So I will be doing that. And by the way, slime is a homebrew thing. We decided to use it. It's kind of fun, and we'll see how that goes. Edge Wizard.
Why are you so good at that? It gets me every time.
I get the sort of the Nerman voice going for this. I just pinched my nose. And also we have several NPCs accompanying the group at the moment, sort of boosting the parties. We can give new players. We have Shadow joining us this week, and next week we'll have a new player who's joining us, called Adam, who'll be joining us in the next game. So the current NPCs that are with you are Perrin, a Fire Ganassi thief, who is he was sort of trapped here in the same way that you guys were. He lost all his companions in this murderous house that he managed to escape. He's the sole survivor of his past. He's a young, a bit idealistic, a bit naive, and a lot of fun around. And we also have Kane Sephericus, who joined you in the last session, a paladin who has been who's joined you on your side, and he sort of was sent for by Ismark Koljanovic to help you with moving Arena to Balaki. He has just recently joined you. He seems to be quite a heroic character, but you don't know him very well yet. Finally, you have tagging along with you, no longer a combat character, she was last time, but she will be stepping back from the role of combat, is Irina Kolyanovich, who is the daughter of the Burgomeister of Barovia, and for some reason is the focus of Strahd. So, we are currently sort of in a clearing where you met Mr. Kringle in the last session, also known as Sinterklaas. Several gifts. Before we begin, Zariel, did you make some decisions about what abilities you're going to take for your weapon? You don't have to tell them, you can just send it to me so I can see what you chose for your weapon.
It is a tab on my character sheet, and
Okay.
it is named appropriately. It's on the bottom. You should see it, and I will detail all the things I've done to the weapon. They're all going to be there. I did out.
Wanted to see what you'd added. That's all.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Lovely. Okay. And okay. All right. Thank you. And KENARI, you ended up with Stormclaw, a magical act that can add the power of the storm to your strikes. So, do you have the stats for that? Did you manage to?
I do. I think I transferred it over accordingly, but if it looked wrong, correct me anytime.
Will do. Okay, so you wake up. It is a new day. A little bit haunted by the events of the previous night, when Santa Claus gifted you used the last of his powers to gift you several boons. He vanished into the mist, his powers spent, but leaving you with the parting message is to be found, and that for you, it is for you to bring back. Timus seems oddly lifeless today. He's kind of seems a little bit sort of out of it. He's sitting on Perrin's shoulder, sort of doing the slime thing. Sort of chilling, maybe in sort of in middle of internal introspection, trying to examine that new pouch he's given. Perrin sort of looks over at both of you as Kane gets to his feet, helps Irina up, and says, "Right then, so what are we going to do with this bloody card?"
Is there anything valuable on it? Anything that might aid us?
You can have a look.
Zariel shall have a look.
Okay, do investigation. No.
Okay.
You through the sacks that were there. It seems that what might have been in there has sort of dissolved into dust, maybe sustained only by the power of the individual who was carrying them with him. The sacks are relatively good quality. They seem to be in good repair. So if you want, you could take the sacks with you. They seem to be made of a strong, fibrous material. Other than that, there's really nothing else on the card. Kane also, when he returned the previous night, mentioned that he wasn't able to find the animals that had escaped. They vanished.
Do we need any good bags?
KENARI will take the bags. KENARI
Sorry,
will
go
take the
KENARI,
bags.
please. Okay, so you have there are three sort of medium to large size sacks. You can probably roll them up into almost like a canvas sort of along sort of like tube, and strap them underneath your backpack.
Okay.
I won't say they weigh anything really. Probably about the same as a weight as a set of clothes.
Okay. And then I keep forgetting to do this. So would you allow her to have attuned to the bow overnight, the angelic one? Or does someone else have that right
I
now?
forgot you already had a Meeple weapon, didn't I?
Hmm.
You have 2 magic weapons now. Yes, I could say if you spent the time doing so, I say you could probably spend the time attuning to that.
Okay, because I'm assuming the one she got, the Stormclaw, she doesn't need to
No,
attune to
that
it.
was already pre-attuned to you. Same with
Okay,
ZARRIEL's
that's
weapon,
what
pre-attuned.
Okay, yeah. So, all right, that's good to know. Thank you.
So,
So Timus looks over at you and he says, I think maybe we best get out of get out of here and find somewhere more appropriate to stay for the next. We have to get Arena to back. We promised your brother.
well, that's where we're heading. We don't have any other options, do we? Let's keep on going. The road won't cover itself.
Okay. So you walk for a short time down the road. The area seems to, I mean, the road seems relatively overrun, but I would say it looks like it's well traveled. It's not in that have sort of worn a groove into the road over time. Grass doesn't seem to be growing there, which sort of would indicate steady amount of traffic goes along this road, or at least it sees, at times it sees a relatively large amount of. It doesn't take long before you come to what seems to be an old sort of an old wooden post that sits at a crossroads. It's from hanging from the wooden post is basically an old gallows. You can tell this must have been where people were hung for their crimes against various governments. There's a large frayed length of rope that dances from its beam. This road splits here, and there's a signpost opposite the gallows that points off in 3 directions. You have Barovia village pointing towards the east, have Serpool to the northwest, and you have Ravenloft Valaki southwest.
Where are we headed? Lucky? Yeah.
I believe we are heading to Valaki, are we not?
Yeah.
Can you do me a favor, KENARI? Would you mind doing? You're a survival. You're a sort of a ranger, and sort of you would probably pick up on. So what was your passive perception?
Unfortunately, it is only 12, but now you have me nervous. So should I roll something?
I'd like you to roll a survival check for me, please.
Okie dokie.
Okay.
Oh, wow, there goes my luck for the day.
You notice, so KENARI, looking around, you sort of you notice a few things. First of all, that some of the carts, sort of the ruts from the carts seem to be fresher, coming from Valaki. They seem to have curved down towards the Sir Pool, heading towards the northwest. You see a number of animal prints and a lot of people's seem to be moving along the road. Lots of footprints overlapping each other and relatively fresh too. You also catch some the sound of running water, and probably the sounds of running water. Maybe a faint clang on the wind.
Clang as in like a cowbell kind of a clang, or are we talking like a clang, like a clash of swords kind of clang?
No, not like I mean, you can't really tell, but it definitely sounds like a man-made noise, like metal striking metal, or metal being dropped, or something along those lines.
Okay, and that's down towards Clear Clee.
Down towards, that's down to the northwest.
Okay. Okay. It sounds like there is something down this way.
Lead us then. You're a tracker.
Well, I'm not necessarily tracking. Besides, we're doing a bit more of
Investigative. Work.
I thought we were escorting, but I suppose since we are a party who seems to enjoy detours, we can go this way.
So, Zariel,
Hmm.
as you follow Luea and the rest of your party sort of drags along, Perrin slumping along, looking a bit like a sulky teenager, hands in his pockets. You to sort of taking the lead and stomping and clanking through the mud of the road. You turn back. The creaking noise interrupt your thoughts, and you spin around. No one else seems to be paying attention, but you hear the sound. You spin around, and there, hanging from the gallows, there is a lifeless grey body. Beforehand, nothing was there, and now it is visible. The breeze turns the hanged figure slowly, so that it can set its dead eyes upon you. Zariel, the figure has your face.
He shall slowly start approaching it.
Do I see him?
You can, yeah. You probably notice him leave. If you turn, if you want to see what sort of follow him, you can do
I'll
that.
notice if anyone in the party goes off, and check to see where he's looking.
Zariel walking towards the gallows from before. Before there was no body. There seems to be something hanging there now. A body. Looks like one of the Barovians from the village. Nothing too exciting, but definitely strange that the body is materialized. Yeah, the gallows.
Oi. Don't get close to that. Do I have? I don't think I do. Dang it, I don't. Okay, never mind. I was hoping I had a.
Reaching it, Zariel stares at himself for some time. And
it looks real. It smells real. You can smell the sickly sweet scent of decay in this body. Bloated stomach. It's horrible.
He takes out a knife and pokes it with the blunt end of it.
The moment you touch the figure, it just vanishes into mist.
Oh,
as if it wasn't there.
Okay, let's get going. Stuff here is really starting to freak me out. He turns around and catches up to KENARI.
Are you satisfied with poking the dead?
I suppose I would not like them to disappear into mist.
We're in a very auspicious place. If that is what surprises you, the feeling I might have to catch you when you faint at something else.
Peace be upon you. And let's get going.
She lets out like a low growl. And we keep going.
All right. As you head down the road in the direction Luea is leading you. The road gradually disappears and is replaced by this twisting path. And you can see deep ruts in the earth as evidence of the coming and going of many wagons. There's a canopy of mist and branches that suddenly gives way to boiling black clouds, not cows, the cows are not there, the boiling black clouds above. It's gone from a relatively clear morning to, so it's very overcast in just a few seconds. The first thing you notice as you walk in, there's a clearing. Let me just move the map so we can be in the right. So here we go. So you're currently in a clearing. And I'm sorry, I used a standard tab just to represent people because...
That's good.
No.
That's fun.
So you're in you're in this clearing, and you can see that there is basically it's next to a river. There's this small lake, several hundred feet across. There are a number of colourful round tents as well as wagons. Each of these tents is about 10 feet in diameter, and you can see that they're sort of pitched around a ring of barrel top. One second. And there's a sort of a larger tent. That's the one which sort of draws your attention with the bright red, the beautiful sort of bright red canvas. That is connected. Is basically standing much closer to the shore of the lake. There seems to have a sort of be lit within, like there's a fire, lamps inside. Remember, this is Strahd, so even when it's light, it's dark. You know, it's overcast. Everything is overcast and grey and murky.
Just like
you can see a number of horses. There's a number of horses drinking by the river. You sort of notice very quickly the strains of an accordion, the clashing of cymbals. There's a number of singing, brightly coloured, clad figures sat around a bonfire. The footpath goes beyond this encampment, sort of heading towards the north and the forest's edge. There are about, I'd say there's about, looking at everybody, there's probably about 12 people sort of sitting around. They seem to be, you sort of take a double take, and actually it's not 12, it's 13. There are about 13 people around by the fires that have been set up in the center of the wagon sort of circle. They seem to be drinking, maybe talking. It's a very interesting. It's sort of interesting, very colourful compared to what you're used to in Barovia. There seem to be also be two guards that are sort of two individuals that seem to be on guard with them. They seem to be standing away from the festivity. So you would be coming into the clearing about here, guys, down here. So if you want to bring your characters on, and Sid, if you want to bring your character on over here. Bring your character over. Shadow?
Give me a second. From adding it new, it's been a little while. It's usually always hard to on the thing. What is it? I got to click the arrow and then.
Oh no, you're just dragging your icon up. You're dragging your token icon onto the thing. So if you go up to like your character journal, the thing that looks like a newspaper up at the top of Roll20, you click that.
That's what I'm doing wrong. I'm dragging the thing from the bottom where it's like our names and stuff. That's where.
No. Yeah, you want to grab your thing off of there and then.
There it goes. Thanks.
You got it.
Okay. So as you sort of step into the clearing, the two sort of guards who were sort of lounging before, they sort of leap to their feet, and they sort of leap to their feet and stand. Don't seem inhospitable. They look wary of you. I'll bring on the other characters. And is and Rena here. So yes, you make for an interesting bunch.
Definitely do.
One of the approaches you. Welcome. Be your friend or foe?
Well, we
We
come
hope
friendly.
not foe.
We come friendly.
It is good to see new faces. Please come join us by our fire, weary travelers.
I get the feeling that this might have been a bad idea.
I like this one. She is funny, yes. He walks up to you, Zara, and gives you sort of a nudge and a wink.
How many of them are armed?
They all have sort of weapons on. I mean, but roll insight. Roll a. It's what you can see. Roll a perception. See if you can what you can see. So I mean, I think even with a 10 perception, you could see that all of them have something on them. You'll have a dagger or a knife or something, or a frying pan or something. They'll have something on them. But they'll smile at you and wave and sort of call out to you. New travelers, welcome. We don't see many of this kind. Look at the one with a goat. Good eating on this goat.
She immediately motions for Daisy to come closer.
One of them is on fire. It's on fire, I tell you. So they're all sort of like they're all sort of just like
just mutters in Draconic. Just mutters in Draconic.
One of them a female Vistani, she's got a bandana wrapped around her head, brightly coloured, reds, greens, blues, lots of sort of cheaply made but shiny sort of jewelry around her wrists. She's got a long scimitar attached to her hip, and she sort of staggers over to you a little bit. She has a flask of wine into your arms, KENARI. She goes, "Come, drink with us. Tell us your tales. We do not see many people from beyond the mist."
Beyond the mist, huh?
Well,
she's uncomfortably now holding this flask.
The other Vistani comes over and he sort of pushes the go back a little bit and he says, Petra, do not scare our guests. What she means to say is we do not see many travelers upon the road this time of year. Please come in. My name is Rakanovich. You can join us at our fire, imbibe some of our food, and share your tales with us. It is it is not often that we manage to entertain, and maybe we can help you as well.
She'll look over to Zariel, what do you want to do, dude?
Well, seeing as Kane tagged along as we lost our two companions, and he takes a step closer towards her and starts whispering, I would see if any of these fine folk are not willing to give us a hand, as I do not have much faith in our merry band.
Don't know if they plan to give us a hand or rob us blind.
Zara looks around. Does anybody stand out apart from the clothes that all of them wear?
It's interesting. They all seem to be very similarly dressed, but there's one individual by the fire who looks very. Would you like to describe yourself and what they might be
Yes.
seeing?
Yes. He's dressed like them, very, very ostentatiously. He has a bandana around his head. It comes over his ears, so it covers his pointed ears. So he tries to get off like a human image, but there's still a little bit of like otherworldliness, a bit of the fae like showing through. He seems much more handsome than the rest of them, and he's talking to one of them, and he has some cards out on like a wooden stump, and he appears to be engaged in doing something, maybe like fortune telling or something. You're not really sure.
The Vistani next to him just is clapping with delight, watching what's happening, and he seems to have gathered a small crowd. So there's another two sort of Vistani sort of like lurched over to him and looking down very interestedly at what he's doing. So she sort of turns to you and he goes, "Please come join our fire. We also have several wares that might be available for purchase. We do travel and trade from time, and we may give you a little traveler's being such good."
Sounds wonderful. And Zaro puts a big smile on his face, and he starts walking towards the charismatic-looking young man sitting next to him and putting a hand over his shoulder. Who might be you?
Oh, you cut out a little bit. Were you talking to me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Who might be you?
Oh, hello. I am Vladislav. Welcome to our humble camp here. And who might you be?
The name is Zaro. Glad to meet you. And with the hand that's not around Vladislav's shoulder, he offers a handshake.
And he offers his hand back and gives a very enthusiastic handshake.
Mind you, what are you doubling in here? I see you have cards.
Yes, I'm telling fortunes. Would you like your fortune told?
He looks back at KENARI.
She walks up with Daisy close by, and before she like leaves the group, she kind of like looks over at her other charges at this point, and
Sorry, who?
she kind of just like she gives a soft shrug, like, oh well.
Yeah, while you move over there, basically Kane sort of settles down with sort of Irina. He's standing guard. He's sort of seated, maybe not used to long distance walks, like you guys are. Perrin sort of like he sort of like shuffles over and seems to be trying to persuade one of the other Vistani to share a flask with him. He said, "Come on, pass it over here. Go on, give us a glug. It's a bit funny, you know."
That one doesn't get alcohol. He's underage.
Oh, come on. Who are you? My mother? I think I would remember if my mother had a pair of arms like yours.
Are you sure about that?
Daisy. Sorry, your air is more valid than mine. Please use your air.
Just that weird little goat bleep.
So Timus is bothering someone to tell, have you ever heard of cinnamon rolls? They're like this delicious thing you can eat in the underground. You make them from snail mucus, but you can make them out of sugar and
DM, quick question. If my memory serves, out of character, these are the people that Timus bought a whole ton of sugar and milk from, right?
No, yes, in town.
In the bar?
Yeah, in the bar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would KENARI was dealing with her own thing with the pastry map, but would it be possible for her to remember after like starting to talk and watching Timus engage with some of the people and talking to them? Would it jog at all that?
Well, can Luea remember their names and who they were?
No. But she
Can
just,
Luea, if Luea can't remember, KENARI can't remember.
I think. Well, I remember the V. I remember the V, like the Vistani part.
Yeah, so you would remember they were Vistani. Yeah.
Okay.
I think you would probably remember that. So, well, they're dressed very similarly, brightly coloured. Maybe you don't remember what they're called, but you can see there's a correlation
Right.
between
My
what they
main
were
thing
wearing
was-
and what.
My main thing was like, would she be able to remember that these are just merchants and that they're not like a band of thieves?
I mean, I think you would remember that Timus bought stuff from them in the town, and that yes, they did. You remember him buying something. You didn't care what it was. Something was glittering. But you definitely remember him buying something.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So are you telling the fortune for the group? Shadow.
Sure, if that's what they're wanting to do.
Okay. Well, it's you just tell it.
So he begins to he picks up the cards and starts to shuffle them. And as he does, he looks at each of them. I guess he's starting with ZARRIEL first, and does like to do like an insight roll to see what he can figure out about him.
Yeah, do an insight check. Okay.
Bang.
Yep. So I'm gonna for that roll, I'm gonna Nick 3 questions about what he sees or his mannerisms. Okay, and you can use that to ask 3 things to him now.
Okay. Does he appear like there was the question before about like being from beyond the mist? Is anything about him make him look like he's definitely not from here? As someone who's a native of this area would notice.
First off, ZARRIEL is missing a good amount of his facial hair in the form of his eyelashes and his eyebrows, as they seem to have been burnt off by some kind of fire, as well as there are clearly marks of burning centered on his eyes and mouth, as if flame had burst out from them, burning his whole face. That and his eyes are golden in color.
Yeah.
In visual. And he is as finely dressed as the Vistani as well.
Okay, so you can ask him 2 more questions that you interpret.
All right. From his like body language and voice tone, is there anything that looks like about how he feels about this situation, or about how he feels about this situation that he's in now, and up to at this point, basically his current mood?
He seems stressed, but more and more relieved as he's currently met a person that he feels can finally relate to, as well as to finally try and and see, as well as he's really interested in finding people in this cursed land that are more unique than the others.
Or what than others?
More unique for the,
Okay.
from the others. For one purpose or another, he's seeking something, it appears to be. And he believes that Vladisław might be one of those.
All right, and then just I honestly had enough questions, but just that answer actually gave me so much that I can work with on this. But basically, based on his what he's equipment he's carrying and things like that, does it give anything clues about what he does, his skill set, and things like that?
He looks like to be a nimble. Nimble, not as nimble as KENARI or Piran, but nimble enough. And on shield and weaponry, he seems to be fighting on the front of whatever encounters may appear. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So let's do a reading.
All right. Now, as he's doing this, he's going to basically kind of set the cards in the deck so that he can pull what cards he wants to tell the fortune he wants, because he doesn't really know how to tell fortunes. He's just a bullshit artist. So can I roll a sleight of hand?
Yeah, go ahead. So you can, looking at all these things, you know where every card is in your deck. I want to, yes, roll a sleight of hand to see how well you present it and how well you.
Okay, would that be sleight of hand or performance?
I would say in this case it would be performance, because you know where your cards are. This is your pack. You've got them all the cards marked. You know everything you've got to do with it.
Okay, works for me.
So performance is basically you showing off. How do you do this? I want to hear a description of how you're presenting this to him.
Yeah, I'll give you just a second here. So he closes his eyes for a moment as if he's looking into, channeling divine, or the energy in to foresee, and he starts to shuffle the cards some more. And then as he does it, he takes somewhere he splits parts of the deck off with one finger and his thumb and moves it off, like kind of swivels it off to the left, and then drops it down in his left hand and keeps doing that over and over again. And then he flips a card out, and in the card is the card of the traveler. And he says, "You're on a journey from a long way, and you still have a long way to go. You don't know much about these lands, and you're just looking your way through." And as he does this, he continues to do that, swiveling them off and dropping them into his other hand, and then pulls another card. And this one is like the sage, like a seer. And I suspect in this journey you will find very soon a guide to help you travel, to find the goal that you're looking for. And he keeps doing the same thing with the cards. And he drops a card of a stranger down next to those other two cards. And each time he sets them down very, very neatly to where they're aligned with each other. And each of the movements is very graceful, very smooth. They churn into one another. There's no like hesitancy. There's no like shakiness in his hands. And this person that will guide you, that will take you to the places you want to go, and give you insight into this world, will be different than many of the people you'll find in the cities and the towns, perhaps even one of our comp. And that's the fortune.
Okay.
That would take a second and would basically stare into Vladislav's eyes. How does he react?
Vladislav just holds his stare back at him, and he has violet eyes. He has violet colored eyes, which are you almost look into your soul type of eyes. There's something almost like
I'm going
otherworldly.
to do a contested check here. ZARRIEL, insight, shadow, deception, or performance. You can choose.
I'm going to do deception.
You could use your cardiac inspiration if you wished.
Okay, so that's kind of weird because so for my
what do you roll, a 2?
well, for the silver tongue, any roll that is a 9 or less is a 10, so that should be an 18. I just thought maybe it would actually control it and roll 20.
Okay, all right, so it's an 18 then. All right, we'll figure out that in a minute. So it's an 18. So ZARRIEL, those eyes, they seem to hold such truths. You look for deception, but the earnestness within those violet orbs shocks you to your core. This is a person who knows them.
ZARRIEL was not looking for that.
I thought you were looking into his eyes. Okay.
He is, but I was looking for something else.
Well, that's what you see while you're looking for something else.
I was actually waiting for Vladislav's description much more. That was what I was seeking. Thank you, friend. And his left arm from his shoulder and puts it and crosses it with his other one. KENARI? This man seems to know what he's doing. And I'm going to be interested in seeing what if he has something interesting to bring to the table. Would you like your fortune read? Red?
I think I will pass. I'm not exactly keen on hearing what the future holds. I'd rather experience it firsthand. Besides, I get the sense that you probably wouldn't get a good read on me anyway. And she just warms her hands up by the fire.
Vladislav claps his hands once together and says, I like this one. This is very true. Don't trust in the future. I don't look for my own fortune. I just let things happen as they happen. I like life to be a surprise. I think we will be good friends. Yeah?
She just gives you a side eye and just kind of is like, I don't understand why ever. She's just sorry, my mic's not picking it up, but she's just like, I don't understand why one is suddenly insisting that we are friends.
Okay.
She doesn't really respond to you beyond that.
It's because you have such a magnetic aura. I mean, who can resist such a face?
Roll a deception check. I want to see how flattering you are.
She's gonna roll insight.
It should be an 18 as well.
That should be an 18. Okay. It's
nice.
she meets you. Yeah, so with an 18, I would say, KENARI, you've heard these lines before, normally from other Dragonborn. Not solely though.
She's just gonna move her tail around and whack it on the ground and like kind of give a huff of like and like it's like a physical eye roll without actually doing an eye roll.
So he doesn't he kind of takes it in stride and just looks back to ZARRIEL and asks, so where are your travels taking you?
Wallachia.
Wallachia. Have you been there before? It's a very
We're
cosmopolitan city.
No, we're currently, and she looks over to find Irina. We're
Yeah.
currently on an escort mission.
An escort for the lovely lady over there, or the gentleman. I mean, I'm guessing the lovely lady. I think the gentleman probably does not need escort. I mean, he looks very strong, like he could take care of himself. But I imagine such an escort means that this woman is very, very important, and her protection. Am I right? Yes, of course I am.
Well, considering she's the object of a vampire.
Now that kind of gives a little bit of you notice the first kind of crack in that cool facade he's had the whole time. It's just kind of like a blink, and he kind of glances away towards the ground, to his right and towards the ground, and comes back and smiles and puts back on that like charming, cool facade that he's had. Well, that sounds like she's definitely needs the help of good, strong people like you.
Are you openly trying to hide this, or are you like, is this like on full display? I just need to know if I need to roll perception to see it.
It's you kind of caught him off guard a little bit, so without going into more deep, it has to do something with his backstory and stuff like that. So it's
okay. That's all I wanted to. That's all I needed to know. Like, I didn't know if you were like saying you were trying to hide it or anything like that. That's all I wanted to check. DM, just clarification really quick. Because I don't want to remember things wrong and accidentally metagame. We knew based on what Ishmark told us. Ismark,
yeah.
Yeah, told us that she was that. Like, am I remembering right when Ismark told us that Strahd has like been trying to
set his sights on Irina for some reason,
good.
and
I
they've been trying to keep her safe.
I was so worried that we talked about that out of character and that wasn't actually in character, and then I accidentally just metagamed. Okay, thank you. I'm so sorry.
That's fine.
Oh, and then Luea, just to kind of give you, you watched The Mandalorian.
I do not. I am sadly not a huge Star Wars fan, mostly because there were people in my life that ruined it for me.
Oh, that sucks. It's actually a really good show, but there was just a scene in it that I would be comparable to how his behavior was. If you just wanted something to see as like, an acted out in person.
It's okay. I have a very visual brain. My brain is, I speak only in analogies. So I pictured it, described it, so it works.
Awesome.
Excellent. Okay. There's a short sort of lull in the conversation, and you hear the sort of the rowdy sort of talking around you, all sort of like subside slowly. Sitting by the fire, there is an individual. He's a Bistani like the rest, but he wears around his cloak. He wears around his shoulders a cloak that's made from patches of many colors, not just the reds, blues, greens, but also there's purples, pinks, silvers. The gold, and every color you can think of, made of different patches of materials. And he sits with his cloak around his shoulders and sort of raised. He seems to have raised a hand. All of the standing around him are sort of stop and sort of turn towards him as he does. He sort of looks around for a moment, seeing if everybody is down and being quiet. He looks over at you. He looks over at your group, and you a nod. And takes from his flute, chased with symbols of gold in the Elven tongue. It is a. Does anybody read Elvish?
I do.
Okay, so we go.
No, I did not.
Sid reads Elvish.
Okay, so you would. I mean, it doesn't. It doesn't look like a spell or anything. It doesn't seem to be some sort of like. It doesn't seem like a charm or anything. It just seems to be a. It seems to be like a line from an Elvish proverb. When I sing, I speak the truth. Okay, and it's just a. It's probably a line from a poem or a song or something. You can't quite recall, but it does seem to have that sort of Elvish sort of prose slang that would normally be used within their tales. So I'm a little bit interested as to why this person would have an Elvish instrument, being definitely from origin himself. And as you would know, there's not a huge amount of elves in Barovia. There are some, not a huge amount. He also sort of like pulls a small wooden harp, beautifully, intricately carved. Scenes of satyrs and fauns and centaurs seem to sort of surround the instrument. It's not a. It doesn't look like an expensive instrument, but it looks like a well-loved and well-cared for one. Sitting alongside him is a younger man. He wears a cloak as well, not as many patches, much shorter. And he seems to, it seems to be some sort of badge or mark of office. It's not, but you don't really know much about them besides what you've learned in your short time. And this individual, he passes the flute over to the younger man. And pulls the harp, and starts to sort of strum the harp in a slow, gentle melody, accompanied by a sort of a lilting, warbling tone from the young man on the flute. And as he strums, he speaks. "Have new visitors to the camp tonight, and so, for all of those here who may have heard my tales before, I say thank you for putting up with an old man's whimsy. For our new guests tonight, I present a tale, story of a mighty wizard and his enigmatic and powerful foe." So he says, breaks into a story. "A mighty wizard came to this land over a year ago. I remember it like it was yesterday. He stood exactly where you are standing," he points towards you, ZARRIEL. "A very charismatic man. He thought he could rally the people of Barovia against the devil, Strahd. He stirred them with thoughts of revolt and bore them to the castle en masse. When the vampire appeared, the wizard's peasant army fled in terror. The few who stood their ground were never seen again. The wizard and the vampire cast spells at each other. Their battle flew from the courtyards of Ravenloft to a precipice overlooking the falls. I saw the battle with my own eyes. Thunder shook the mountains. Great rocks tumbled down upon the wizard, and yet by his magic he survived. Lightning from the heavens struck the wizard, and again he stood his ground. The devil's heart fell upon him. The wizard's magic could not save him. I saw him thrown 1,000 feet to his death. I climbed down to the river to search for the wizard's body, to see he had anything of value. However, Iblis had spirited him away. Whether he survives or not, I do not know. But I like to think such a powerful still stalks these lands, ever howling for the blood. I do not remember his name, though. Quite a sort of plays, and Vistani all whoop and hoot. They're all like clapping with the sound. There's seem to be a number of when we talk about the thunder, they all sort of bang onto the ground. You know this story very well. When he talks about lightning, there's a crash of cymbals, and the boys sort of like the pitch of the flute reaches this beautiful sort of high shrieking note that despite its sort of hauntingness, it's still sort of incredibly sort of uplifting and powerful. It seemed for a moment that wizard, you hold in your seat, you think the wizard might stand against this devil, but kind of let down by that that ending. The man sort of the man at the camp, he turns and he looks around the group, and he sort of course, this was a tale only a year ago. Many have stood against Strahd, and all have fallen. But the next person to stand against him could succeed. Maybe you, ZARRIEL, points at you. He sort of points at basically waving like his sort of finger in sort of the general direction of all the newbies in the group. So possibly be you who will save this. Only time will tell. I hope I do not have to fish your body up. Value one. Also, Vistani's like sort of like sort of cheering and sort of laughing when he says that. We'll sort of sit back and sort of go back to sort of cheering. The man sort of puts the harp away, puts away the flute, and says, this is such a shame. I am such an old man now. In my days of youth, I would have told stories until the sun rose. Of course, depend upon whether the sun would rise in these lands. Anyway, he sort of wanders over to your group. He sort of talks to he sort of like speaks to you, Ari, and sort of like kneels down next. You should visit Madam Eva. It was fated that you would come to our humble camp. We foretold your coming, and she awaits you. He points towards the largest tent, one nearest the river, the red. He then sort of like pats you on the shoulder, tries to. Lou, I don't know whether he would be allowed to.
If he got close, she'd like lash her tail as a warning and show some of her teeth.
He moves his hand and sort of like places it on the goat instead. Sort of ruffles Daisy's head, and then sort of moves away to join several of the other male sort of camp.
No touchy, no touch. Well,
shall we go and see this Madame Eva then? It might not hurt to get your fortune read twice in the same day.
depends. And she stands up. If an old woman predicted us to be here, she either knows something that everyone here does not, or she's like us. It's worth looking into. And she turns and starts walking towards the tent.
Okay. you all following, or are
Yep.
you just going?
Zariel will follow.
Yes, I'm following.
Simus is sort of like looking at, he's in shock at the goat. He's like, "Oh, yes, I better come to. I can't let you not get ahead of me when there's information for there."
As Daisy passes by Perrin, if he's not paying attention, Daisy would like butt him before continuing on and scampering off. You know, like Jolly from that a movie thing that we're not allowed to. The one with the guy who lives in the bell tower. That one.
Ah, okay, the one we won't talk about because we might get a multinational corporation to eviscerate us and steal our very souls.
Exactly.
No problem. I'm not even going to roll for this. Basically, yeah, Daisy just thumps him in the bum as he walks past. And he goes, Perrin goes sprawling on the ground in front of the stun he was trying to impress with a knife trick. His dagger goes flying off. Not the special one, but his other dagger goes flying off into the undergrowth. Oh, bleeding goat!
Yeah.
I know it was you, Daisy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have mutton one of these days. I'll tell you. What do you call? What do you goat? I'm goat. Goat stew.
I love this goat.
You wait. I'll get you.
That's all
As
I
I'll
wanted to
be
do.
bold, I'll burn your fur off. Probably wouldn't do anything though because he's too scared of Luea. Sorry, not Luea. He's too scared of KENARI. Scared of you too, Luea.
It's okay. I have that effect on people.
Okay. Okay. So if you okay. So magic flames cast a red glow interior of this. You can see before you a low table covered in black velvet. Glints of light seem to flash from a crystal ball on the table as a hunched figure peers into its depths. Throne speaks, her voice crackles. Laughter bursts, mad lightning from her withered lips. It's good to see you here, my dears. I expected you a few days ago, but it appears you finally made your way. Ah, and she sort of looks over the group. Oh, the one kissed by an angel. She looks at you, Zariel. Burning within you. It consumes you ever slowly, and it will burn you out from within. Ah, I see you have a new toy. She points at your hip. It appears that old busybody has been around. Seems to have given your thing a boost of juice. Oh, and by the way, your friend through the camp a fortnight ago. He said he was looking forward to seeing you again. Very much so. Sort of turns away from you, Zariel, dismissing you as if you're no longer an issue.
Can I roll a perception to see how Zariel's responding to all this?
Yes, of course you can. Yeah, I would like. Well, are you trying to hide your body? Because it would be insight to be looking at like how the body reacts.
Well, he's kind of so he did not find what he was looking for in Vladislav. So this woman now starting crumbling on has kind of got his interest, and he's kind of on edge now. That's what she can gather without brawling, I suppose.
So she'll get that you're on edge.
Yeah.
About whatever this lady is saying. Got it.
She turns to you, KENARI. She looks at you and she goes, such a tragic past, but you're building yourself a new family. You that other one, it seems that they dragged you down far too long. Embrace your new skills and your new future. Companionship at last. It seems to be doing you good. I know everything, my dear. It's the benefit of being me.
Then you should know that I appreciate you not digging into my business.
Oh, I don't dig into your past, my dear. It's there in front of me. I can see it all. But I will keep my peace. For now. Unless it becomes profitable for Madame Eva. Turns around and she sort of looks at Timus and she goes, "Oh, you don't have long, do you? The darkness is heading. You can't feel it, but you will soon. Maybe you should be more careful about what you eat." Your brother is well, to put your mind at ease. He still causes havoc wherever he goes, but yes, he is well. Well and missing you. It's a shame he will never see you alive. And turns around and sort of looks at you now. Sid looks at Shadow, and she goes, one who is our own in spirit, if not in birth. Or at least that's what you'd like us to believe. You have so many faces, but which one of them is your own, I wonder? Oh, don't scratch so, dear. You get heartburn when you do so. And, yes, yeah, I think it would be best following this group for a while if they let you. You might have an opportunity to express your true feelings to those who've wronged you. Not to give too much away, for Madame Eva does enjoy the little games. But enough with the fun. I think it's time that I tell your future. Where's it gone? I've lost it. I was in the flow. I lost my information. There we go. Okay, so she a pack of cards, much like your own. Much like your own Shadow Sid, and sort of she sort of starts shuffling it almost clumsily in front of you. Her hands seem to be maybe slightly arthritic, maybe not quite as nimble as they once were, and she's sort of slowly shuffling them as she mutters to herself. Yeah, no, they are. Yes. I think so. I think so. Oh, they will. Oh, should they know? Will it help them or? Let me see. She starts to takes the card, looks over at you, said, "I'm afraid no tricks for me. My old bones don't allow it. Ooh, I'll do a few of my boys though, and a few of my girls. Best you don't stay. I wouldn't want more of your silver-tongued people here when I around amongst mine. I need to trust my people after all. So, would you like me to read your fortune?"
Are you asking to read mine or the dragon coin?
Oh, I think I can read for the group. You are also intermingled, and that your futures, well, they lead along a very similar path.
Xander's eyes are just moving between her and Vladislav. Left, right, left, right. She does not appear to hear much. What was being saying after she was talking to Vladislav.
Vladislav is extremely uncomfortable right now. Almost like he's got the spotlight on him and he's naked, but he's trying to play it like super cool. He's not uncomfortable. But you know, sometimes he certain things she'll say he'll kind of roll his shoulders like one after the other, like left and right. You know, kind of clear his throat.
KENARI is just she's pretty well, but there is an absolute inner rage. Like, this is the second person who, like, has hinted that they know something, and she does not appreciate it.
Zariel collects himself, takes a breath, and looks towards Madame Eva. We would like to have our fortune read. He then looks towards Vlad. And I would like to have a word with you. After this.
Many words, many words. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt everybody.
No, it's okay.
What's going on? That's the problem with streaming it. Sometimes you can't see people's reactions and they lean forward to speak.
Right.
But you know, this is the world we live in at the moment. Anyway, isn't it? Well, someone's going to play with some people around the world if I was personal time. Okay. Voice on. She sort of puts one hand over the cards, and her skin goes from a sort of a healthy, ruddy pink. You'd see it trailing up her hand through the cards. The skin starts to go this dark grey. The greyness spreads up her arm, across her face and body until her entire visage and her entire being seems to be wiped of colour. Her eyes, when they open, are inky black pools. And you can see throbbing under her vein, in these dark black veins that are just sort of pulsing, almost slightly pulsing with energy. She looks over, and her hand flickers so fast that probably only Sid sees the movement. He's so used to card tricks. And her hand flickers, and where her hand was once empty, the card now sits. To the first two. And she places it down on the table. The anarchists. I see walls of bone, a chandelier of bone, a table of bone. All that remains of enemies long forgotten. She places it in front of her. She then, a new card in her hand. The beggar. She places it on the table. The wounded elf has what you seek. He will part to see his dreams. Excuse me. That really hurts my throat. Her hand flickers. She looks over, And she sort of she looks over and she looks over at each and every one of you. Inky black eyes, like dark arms of the void. Master of us. Look for a wizard's tower. Let the wizard's name and servant guide you to one. Places it. Two cards, one in each hand, and places them both down in front of you. The beast, holding a secret hatred for you, is what you seek. Use her hatred to your advantage. And the executioner. I see it. A dark figure about looking down upon this tortured settlement with a twisted smile. The last card placed on the table. The dark, the darkness that overcome her skin slowly recedes back across her body and down into her hand, which she places upon. Hops forward slightly. Not many years left in me. This is what I've come to after reading one rather important set of futures. Did you get what you seek? Did you find anything about what you seek? I hope so. I hope it will help you.
Out of character, can you send those in the chat?
I will send the information to you in the chat so you can.
Thank you. Because what I've written is all I heard.
Yep, I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
If you probably won't need it just this second. I'll do it in a second when Weasel out. 1 sec. Take out the other notes I have surrounding each of these things.
While you do that, I'll be right back.
Okay. No problem.
With that, shall we take a short break?
Yeah, I think it might be a good idea. Should we take a 10-minute break?
Sounds great to me.
Awesome. Take a 10-minute break. I'll be back very shortly. All right, our viewers, see you soon. Okay. Hello, and welcome back to another part of our Curse of Strahd campaign. We have had a lot of fun meeting our new character. What name is the character currently going on by again at the moment?
Vladislav Selikov.
Vladislav Sidorkov. And our group, they met this character at the Stani camp. They've heard a tale of battle. They've had their future told by Madame Eva, aka Evil Joker. And, well, Joker's actually evil anyway, isn't he? So a Joker-like character is definitely not the Joker and won't get me sued by DC. And yes, so you basically you're currently making your way out of Madame Eva's tent. She's just sort of ushered you out, saying, "I must rest. Leave me be. Let an old woman have her rest. Go." You out of her tent, back into the clearing of the Bastani.
You cut out.
He muted. He did not get out.
What did you hear me do?
Right up to the point where you got really quiet.
Oh, random. I don't know what point that was because it's probably my mic.
Oh,
You see.
you leave an old woman to her breast or something.
To her breast. Oh, I hope not.
Rest.
To her breast. Okay.
R-E-S-T.
Okay, well, that makes far more sense. Yes, I said leave her to her rest, and I said that she's basically ushered you out of the tent into the clearing of the Valaki camp. Of the Bastani camp again. You're currently standing back out in the Bastani camps. Perrin is now sitting over there sulking. Next to the data, who sort of seems to be patting him on the back. It seems while you weren't there, he managed to get his hand on some booze, and is sort of like at the moment communing with his gods in a ditch, and sort of the paladin's patting him on the back while then he's throwing up in the gutter.
Ah. Yes, I too know that feeling.
Shall we?
Sorry, that's my fault. It's because I'm actually trying to finish this last mouthful, and I don't want you to be hearing me chomping away on the mic. So I'm trying to be quiet. That's why I'm going quiet. It's up to you now. What do you want to do, guys? You're in the clearing.
Well, let's see what these fine folk have for sale. I'm interested in seeing what they might offer.
I'm a little curious to know what silver tongue means.
Well,
But there's a little bit more I'm curious about. But if you want to change the subject, that's fine with me.
The only thing I know is that woman knows a lot, and people can probably get information from her. I do not feel as this would be a safe place to stay, so... And she turns to Vladislav. Have you been staying with these fine folk? in recent times?
Yes, for some time. I'm from another camp. But I don't think this is really the place we should be speaking about this. In fact, as you said, it's probably better we move on our way.
No, I have no question in mind. Do you fancy coming along with us?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as you said, you're not from here. You've never been to Vallaki. I'm a native of this place. I can show you the way. I would be an excellent guide for you.
Native, you say? He raises an existing eyebrow. Very well. Where shall we set up a camp? Should it be within the quarters of this one, or should we go a little deeper into the forest? Is my question.
Who are you asking specifically? Are you asking
The party,
Vlad?
everybody.
Well, if it's up to KENARI, she's gonna go find the nearest tree away from people and curl up with her little goat and take a snooze.
I'd like to point out it's only about the afternoon. It's not actually the evening. It just looks because it's
Yeah.
but oh yeah.
Yeah, so her response would be like, I can set up camp anywhere. I'm used to sleeping outside. I prefer it, actually.
Let's buy what we can, what we might be interested in from these fine folk, and get going then. And he turns towards the man who offered that they might have something for us to sell to us, and walks towards him and puts on a smile and asks, perhaps you said that you had items that might be of our interest. What do you mean by that?
Yes, I roll over. Well, we are traveling nomadic trading people. Last time we were here, we just come from. Let me just check the name of where they've been from. Sorry, I wrote it down and I've lost it.
Of course.
Yes. So yes, I believe last time in our last travels we came from in darkness. We passed through the mists and did some trading. We have many goods that a traveling trader or adventurer or guard might wish. It's quite a cosmopolitan city. We had a lot to trade, and we bought a lot to bring back with us. Basically, guys, this is if you want to buy it in the player's handbook, you can buy it here. All right, they have, there's like one of them is carrying like goods like ropes and lanterns and ladders, like adventuring gear. Another one of them is sort of got some weapons, good dwarven steel. You've got some of them have armor. It seems like because they're sort of we're heading to Vallaki probably within the next week or so. We have all these goods that we wish to take there to trade with that city. But we unfortunately cannot move as fast as we have too many old amongst us. We have too many children. We must take things slow. Plus, we are not that welcome in Vallaki. They do not trust our trading peoples like this. We will make our way around the city the long way and set up towards the rear entrance near the river, where we can use it for our own bathing and sanitation.
How much? And he looks at the man. Would put an armor run me? A half-plate armor, I'm asking. It's in the player's handbook.
If it's in the player's handbook, it costs player's handbook, it costs what it costs in the player's handbook.
Normally, people would run it for 750 gold pieces. Are you willing to go lower?
Suppose I could put in a good word for you, Madam Eva seems to like you. We can. I can give you a 10%. But no lower.
I shall think over it.
Of course. And if you wish for anything else in the meantime, please ask me or any of the other of our fine folk near their caravan.
Can we get that gold though? Six. What's it? This character. I'm wondering how do I get 675 gold.
Well, that's for you guys to talk about in your group. Basically, if you make a decision as to what you guys want, you can just choose what you want and buy it. You don't have to go to each of the vendors. You can if you want, and I can do the role play for you. But if you just rather buy your gear, feel free to just chat amongst yourselves. Look at what you've got, see if there's anything you'd like to buy, and have a 5-minute shopping trip.
Zariel looks towards KENARI. May I ask something of you?
Depends. What is the question?
The question in this case might be money. As in recent, as I used at least most of my earnings to buy this, and he pulls out a relatively large and nicely cut diamond. It cut 300 gold pieces into what otherwise I would have probably saved. But it is possible, if I learn enough magic, that this could save somebody's life. What I ask of you is that in my current state, and as he points towards his robes, I am not going to last without my magic long on the front line. If you can lend me an acceptable amount of money so I can buy myself a new, or at least my first set of armor that I can finally use and wear, I'll be greatly appreciative.
By the way, Sid, I'm going to give you another 150 gold.
Oh, nice.
From let's say from your past exploits and because you haven't been with the group. So I'll give you 200 gold. So if there's anything you want to buy here, that's basically from the work you've been doing for the Vistani, money you've won in gambling, sort of like in card games and tricks. You've sweet talked people into lending you a little bit of money, a few other things, So however you gathered it, you've managed to gather about 200 gold pieces together. So you do have some money as well. Okay?
Okay, cool.
Why don't you find the armor first? And then come ask me for the price. I don't have a whole lot.
Well, it's going to cost us a few gems and a few dark pieces we're able to find. But it otherwise would cost me an arm and a leg and potentially a dead party member if it ever came down to it.
So, like, how much gold are we talking about?
675 gold.
I do not have
That's steep.
even a remotely close amount to that.
But we have, and he takes out a small book that he keeps on his person. We have, he points towards his backpack, 5 gems that I'm not going to use to make the lenses for that machine. Turns towards it. I'm going to. That brings us to 250 gold in gems that we can trade to these fine folk.
One of the Vistani next to you hears you and he says, "Hey, maybe you want to have a nice breastplate. Instead, it's only 300, but I will give you the same 10% discount. Only 360 gold. and it does not make as much noise. And maybe you will find this to your satisfaction, at least for now.
Let me look it up because I think that's.
Its breastplate is 14 dex modifier, but there's no disadvantage on stealth. 14 plus dex.
So out of character, to make this simple, Zario does the math. We have 215 gems plus 125 from Word of Art. That brings us to 375 gold.
Bruh,
Yeah,
I have 14 gold. Like I have.
That is the party fund. That is like the whole party's
That's
money.
the party's fund, and I can basically give a person's life, technically not yet, but a diamond worth 300 gold. That would bring me to 675 gold. It's barely enough.
675 is exactly what you need.
Yes, that I know. That's why I'm so concerned. I have 80 gold that they can add on this. but that's what I'm so concerned about.
Unless you're going to sell some things, we don't have enough for that.
Unless I sell a diamond that might be worth somebody's life.
So 215 plus her 14, that's 229. Then you have what, 80 or 60 you said?
89 or something.
So
No,
that's...
I have that's 86. No, 9. Around 105 gold of myself.
I sell you some nice scale mail for 45 gold.
We only have
Only
334.
slightly used.
My question is, are you willing to part with that and keep tap on it because Zario is planning to return all of the money he is borrowing currently? Because
You
this
get
is a
would.
large
I want you to think about character as well. Would Sid give the money?
Yeah, would they? Yeah, that's I'm asking this out of character, but keep this in character. Zario has something in mind, and that's why he's trying to get this.
Yeah, so he needs... Sure, for
So
certain.
from here on out, if we double in the whole party fund, 300 gold pieces. I can cover 100 of mine, but that leaves the party fund is depleted, plus 200 from my party members. That's basically what the Zario will need to buy this.
So you're asking for 200 and you'll pay it back.
Yeah,
Why don't you just sell the diamond?
okay.
Like,
This is really meta, but
none of us have Revivify.
No
None
meta,
of us
no
can
meta.
use it.
yeah, none of us have it. But I'm a divine soul sorcerer. Come on.
No bullying party members if they don't want to part with their money.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just pointing out that people can learn it in this party. That's why I bought it, and that's why I kept it, and that's why I'm so indecisive about keeping it. Okay. Would you reckon we would find more gems like these that can fulfill the purpose if we need to? And he again shows the party shows you to the diamond.
Yeah, so it's not going to part with 200 to people you just met.
Okay. So Zario,
we don't have a healer. We lost both of them. I don't know why you bought a diamond to carry along on a mission. It seems more like a target to have in your pocket.
KENARI, while you're sort of talking around about this, basically the Vistani are like scenting water, and they're starting to like crowd around you and shove things in your face, like in front of you now. This man is like pointing this. He's got a fishing tackle, and he's like throwing around and you catch many fish. Lovely things to catch fish, hooks, lines, sinkers.
She's gonna flare up and like start to like charge up her breath weapon just as like a warning.
They also they also
back
start
up.
stepping away from you.
Hearing
Do an intimidation. Do an intimidation check. They do smell blood in the water. I want to see how scary you look to them, or whether you look like just another person they can sell stuff to. Yeah. All right. They'll start to back off. Some of them back off, but they're still sort of shouting wares at you as you're sort of standing back there. They're shouting, "Yes, beautiful hunting traps. Many animals will be caught with these fantastic bear traps. Best quality oil, made with lovely quivers to hold many arrows." You know, they're like just yelling random things at you now.
Look,
hearing
ZARRIEL.
hearing what you mentioned, that it would just be a target, ZARRIEL's eyes flare up a bit, and he gives you a smile that you've not seen yet from him. One of a man that looks capable of anything a bit. Like something in him just switches on. Fine then. If I die and lay dead, nobody would be able to bring me back anyways. So he takes it and looks towards her. I shall use what funds we have to make my purchase. I will make sure to help out if anybody needs something, and future shares I would not count towards my profits. He takes 5 of the remaining gems from Timus. He takes
okay, here you go.
the fine art that we've gathered, and goes to the Vistani trader with the diamond in hand.
KENARI will follow behind him to make sure he doesn't get a horrible deal. She doesn't. She knows armor and weapons really well because of her background, so she's gonna follow.
Yeah, sure.
Sid just watches him just to kind of see if he's being shady.
Sid, you suddenly realize you're in the middle of a group of Vistani, all who seem to be like very intrigued with selling things now. One of them is bringing a camel over to you. He's got from behind the thing. He's like, "Beautiful camel, fantastic, very good for long distance rides."
The heck with your armor, Nick. Let's buy the camel.
So you can have a camel and a goat now.
Beautiful.
What other animals you got?
Many beautiful animals. We have a camel. I have a donkey for beautiful riding horse. He used to belong to a noble, not so noble now. He has no horse. And he was on the floor. I took it from him. He did not need it. And I have a dog too. If you want a lovely, strong guard dog. Can I interest you in a chariot?
Nick's trying to talk 3 times.
Sorry, Nick.
I would feel that would be much in character. Zara just tries to get his words across, and someone shouts.
Would you like chariots? No, I don't need a chariot.
Yeah, basically. He walks up to the man and presents the form of payment. I feel like the price of pieces, as well as these gems and this one, as he features the diamond.
Can you list out its gold value for me, just so I know how much everything is?
So, I have it written down the stuff. This. Mm-hmm.
Can KENARI assess the quality of the armor he's trying to purchase?
The half plate. Yeah, you can look it over if you wish.
Investigation.
Yeah, do an investigation for me. Yeah. What's your background again? You have
I have proficiency in heavy armor, light armor, medium armor, and martial weapons, and simple weapons.
I mean, do you have a smith? Do you have a understanding of smithing?
I feel like we've talked about this before.
Yes, we have, haven't we? No. So
Yeah,
yes,
no.
we did. We did that when you were back in when we were back in Manather, didn't we?
Yeah, I think it just came down to the fact that she's been trained in all of this.
I mean,
We rolled differently then, but if you came up with a new ruling and want to go with that ruling,
no. I'm not changing the ruling. I'm just remembering things. So it's been a long time since we were in Manather, and we've had to use this skill for you.
She's mostly, if it helps, she's looking for any sort of imperfection, dent, scratch that could bring down the value of it.
Okay, well, I mean, I would say, the man is definitely trying to sell this gear, but it looks in relatively good. In fact, can you please roll a? Can you please investigation turn? I'll get a roll one more time for me. One more investigation check, please.
Okay.
KENARI?
Yeah, KENARI, because she's looking over the armor while you're haggling. Okay. With 13, you notice something quite strange on the armor. Nothing to be worried about. The armor looks in good nick. It doesn't look like it's going to be falling apart. It looks new and well made. But you also see a very strange thing on the inside of one of the breastplate. There's a stamp, one you actually recognize. It's the symbol. It looks like an anvil with a stylized flame sort of beaten into the center of the anvil. It's a very small symbol. You recognize it's a maker's mark. And you recognize this mark, okay? It comes from the beaten anvil, which is a very famous smithing shop in Drognus, the Undercity, which is where you are from, or at least have been for a while.
She'll cut into whatever conversation they're negotiating over and go, "Where did you find this armor?"
I did not find it. We bought it. We passed through the mists into Andrognus. It is a moving city on the back creature.
I know exactly.
Beautiful, beautiful place. You know it. We do not know many people. You live there. Oh, how did you sneak here in the back of one of our wagons? How did you come to be here?
You said you purchased this.
Indeed, not 2 weeks ago.
ZARRIEL looks towards KENARI. Can you expect something good or bad out of all of this?
It's just that it's good armor. It's worth whatever price he charges you. But I would say that anything more than whatever is like
675
take whatever is listed in the player's handbook and lower it down by 20 gold.
Well, I've already taken 10% off it, so it's already down.
That's already down. That's already down.
I know she's negotiating.
20 gold. You wish for my grandmother to starve? She only has 3 teeth. You would let a poor old woman starve? I'm giving you a great price. 10% off. It is more than I give to most of my customers. Normally I add 10% on. But for you, 10% off.
Thank you. And thank you to KENARI for confirming the quality of the product.
I only know what I know. And she puts it down and turns to walk away.
Do a quick persuasion check for me, please, KENARI.
Okay.
I want to see if you left a lingering thought in his mind. This woman, she comes here to tell me my business. I know my business. I'm already giving you the best price I can. I do feel sorry for her so far away from home, but, what the heck? 10, I will take 5 more gold off. because I cannot see a sad customer walk away from me.
Thank you. Thank you a lot.
Indeed. You wish
Thanks,
for this
Xanny.
half plate. You wish for
for
this half plate?
humoring my selfish request.
Well, I did
I'm
it. I did it in five difficulty increments, so you made up to the first one. Okay, so you have 250, so you've got 700, well, 550. Yeah, so you've got enough to get it then. So he sort of like takes your fitting the armor onto you. He's well. Would you like me to fit it to you now, or would you like to do it yourself in the field?
Fit it to me now. I'm not the most used yet to this kind of equipment.
Of course. He sort of like takes you into sort of like he's got like a little sort of a changing tent that he sets up quickly for you. It's like one of sort of like those sort of knights tents in the field, you know, like knights would have.
Mm-hmm.
It probably was a knight's that he's nicked or bought or found. Probably some combination of the three. And he sort of like sets it up, takes you in. There's a little sort of viewing mirror that he trundles out from the back of his wagon, places it. There's a little old lady sort of sitting in the wagon. She sort of like gives you a gummy smile as you walk past. He sort of like sets you up, and it takes maybe about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, sort of like to sort of start fitting you, and but after that you'll be done.
While
And
that's
sort of-
happening, is it okay if KENARI talks to
Vladislav.
You can talk with as
call him
many
Sid.
people as you want.
If it makes
Okay.
it easy, you can just say Sid, because I mean you're talking out of you mean.
Oh, okay. Okay. So where
He's
is
standing
it
next to
at the
Timus,
moment?
and ZARRIEL is probably. I'm just going to move you. ZARRIEL.
Okay, she'll probably go back and camp out by the fire, and probably if there's like food around,
Yeah.
she'll purchase a little bit and start cooking it herself.
Timus is
or
talking to
however
you,
that works.
Shadow, about the sort of like what caramel is. Timus is obsessed with food. I wanted to let you just clarify that. He's a character. He's obsessed with food and sweets. So he's basically saying, now you take the sugar and you sort of melt it down, and you add some pods from this plant called vanilla, and you sort of don't let it burn. You mix in some cream, and it will have to be good cream. He's how to do it, and I don't know if you're interested in that sort of thing, but he's giving you a blow by blow on how to make caramel.
Sid is just nodding his head like and putting on his best that he is actually paying attention to what he says.
Yeah.
I mean, he is kind of, but he's more paying attention to what he can gain from the person's mannerisms and stuff like that.
Yeah, in the end, Timus is kind of like crying. No one has ever listened to me before when I talked about my food. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime.
It's good that we have someone here who can appreciate fine culinary arts.
We all need to eat, and good food is something I definitely enjoy.
Excellent. Well, if you'll excuse me, I better go over and make sure that young Perrin is still alive. He seems to be fallen. So he just like bounces over towards the NPC, what I call the NPC camp. Over here with Perrin and everybody. Perrin is sort of on the floor shivering.
Who let this
Kane
poor
is-
dumb Ganassi boy drink? Who do I have to slay?
Every single Vistani points at a different Vistani. They're like pointing at different people. It's like 12 arms go up and they're all pointing at different people.
Anyway.
It's like have you ever seen the Road to El Dorado?
Oh yeah.
At the beginning when they're all like going, "How could you eat me? Oh rolled it dice. It's like that.
Yeah,
He gave the boy the drink, and they're just getting more and more sort of like having a laugh about at you, basically. Probably one of them just left it unattended.
Anyway.
You do remember Perrin is a thief, right?
Hey.
This is just handed one way. So Sid, you see KENARI sort of, she's taking a seat by fire, warming her hand. ZARRIEL was nowhere to be seen. He seems to be getting.
Are you going to stand there the entire time, or are you going to come and sit? I don't enjoy being stared at.
And Sid is going to come over here and join them by the fire.
Me. Tiny goat.
And he kind of like scritches behind the goat's ear, pets it.
Aw. Daisy's very friendly. Her owner is not.
I'm kind of thinking, you know how Maggie Simpson doesn't like the other baby
Yeah.
across the way? I'm kind of thinking that the camel is staring at Daisy. And there's just this sort of this lightning bolt between the two of them. Being the cute companion. But no, you had to get there first.
So what does silver tongue mean? You seem to have quite a response.
It means that I'm very persuasive. I have a way with words to say. But perhaps on the road I will go into further about it with you. And your other companion there, who seemed quite interested as well. He's kind of not as jovial as he was. He's a little bit more subdued and kind of calm than he was before when you first met him. It's almost like he's trying not to be noticed now.
I think I prefer you when you're not as happy-go-lucky.
Well, I'll try to keep that in mind if I ever feel like, I want to make you like me more. And he winks at her.
She, makes a face of, I don't know how to react to that. And just, goes back to warming her hands at the fire. We had 2 other party members before coming here. They decided to stay back in Barovia.
Why would they want to stay in such a place?
That's something I'm still trying to figure out.
You've been there, you've seen it. It's, smells very bad. Worse than this goat.
You're welcome to give her a bath if she doesn't suit your smells. But, yeah. It's frustrating to watch them. They get into everybody else's business.
Or your former companions or the goat?
My former, although Daisy does tend to, and she stretches a hand out and rubs it over in between the ears, roughing up or the fur around the horns. She does tend to get into everybody's business as well. Mostly scavenging for food. Also, she'll eat your whatever is headband, scarf? I don't know. She'll eat it if you leave it. I wouldn't leave it lying around.
Good to know. I'll keep that in mind. As he's talking, he's just kind of looking around the camp, trying to judge what the other Vistani around are doing. And
yeah, I mean, they're sort of they seem to be sort of subsiding a little bit after the excitement of a paying customer. They're sort of, I mean, they, as they mentioned before, they have to sort of move slowly. They have a lot of old and young with them. They sort of, I mean, you were with them the day before. They sort of arrived at this camp around about midday and then didn't move until the next morning. They only tend to just move like half day at a time. So they're really so you sort of, they're probably going to be sticking around for the day. They're sort of, they've got their campfires. Some of them start to lay out some food for like a midday repast. The wine is sort of going away now, and now they're sort of moving around, doing some chores around the place. It's a little nomadic community, you know. Whether, I mean, they sort of had their sort of their midday sort of like break, and now they're getting back to doing things. Some of the people who bought armor are bringing it out and polishing it. Some of them are like weapons, and they're sharpening them with whetstones. Some are sort of like looking through different goods and sort of like seem to be sort of like looking for fault, for flaws, and anything they find, they get out this little tool set and they start it or patching it up. A number of children are sort of starting to run around now that the campfires are a bit more manageable. They're sort of, a large number of them were down by the river earlier playing in the morning. You saw them down there. They're now sort of tearing around the camp, they're laughing. Most of them are sort of not wearing shoes. They're just sort of like pattering around. And you can see there's like this big family sort of like vibe to the community. They're not there's no ceremony. The kids duck into every single tent or whatever they want, with very little sort of upset from the rest of the residents. This is kind of the real Vistani, the ones that you were sort of hanging out with the day before. Beforehand, there's sort of like when visitors arrive, I think it's almost kind of like the performance, what's expected of the Vistani. But now that they've sort of done everything they need to do, they've like done their sales, etc. They seem to be sort of like subsiding back down into sort of everyday life. And as anyone who sort of lives nomadically will tell you, there's always something to do. You know, there's always fixing the wagon wheel, patching the canvas, repairing equipment. It's very, you know, herding the few animals they have to let them graze. So it's a living, bustling camp, and they seem to have sort of be paying to you.
Xanny, with that description and the sense of community, I'm just gonna check. I don't have to roll anything, do I?
I don't. This is a different kind of settlement. It's similar, but
okay, that's all I wanted.
I would say that
to check.
There's nothing here which at the moment is being on your heartstring.
Okay, good to know.
It maybe just make you feel a little bit not homesick, but a little bit of a sort of nostalgic pang.
Reminiscent, yeah. How long have you been traveling with these people?
so, DM, how long have I been traveling with these people?
I mean, you probably sort of maybe, I think with what you're wearing, you probably hooked up with them about 4 or 5 days ago. You ingratiated yourself into the camp. They probably you spent about a day studying them and their mannerisms. And probably you know the Vistani, being as you are from Barovia, and probably aware of some of how they behave, their mannerisms anyway. You sort of you spoke with them, you spoke with them, you joked with them, and you seem to have won them over. They seem to think they sort of thought your story, that you're from a small sort of almost like hamlet community that tried to set up almost like a stable home, and just didn't, and that you couldn't stand that. You felt like you had to get back to your proper roots, and so you left to find the real Vistani. And sort of, they will sort of like buy your story, and they sort of let you sort of like join the camp. Some of them sort of look at you a bit odd every now and then, but they seem to just like put it down to sort of like, almost like your country bumpkin backstory that you sort of charm them with.
All right. A little less than a week, like probably close to a week. I met up with them. I've helped them set up, take down the camp when they move, just work and, do other things that I need to do. Entertain them with fortune telling, other tricks I can do. How long have you been with this group that you've been with?
Well, time has changed since we arrived here. Probably almost 2 weeks, I would say.
Yeah, roughly about 2 weeks.
Oh, so this must all come as very much of a surprise to you. I'm taking you from beyond the mist, not native to this place.
What does everybody keep using that phrase? What does that mean, beyond the mist?
There are different planes of existence.
She kind of just stares at you like a blank stare of like.
Where were you from before you arrived here in Barovia?
From a place filled with death. Also, I forgot the name.
You were in Aviendahl. You were in the world of Aviendahl. You are currently living in the city of Manather, although you do come from Igdropus.
So you've been in this land for a while. What was the name of the land before? Oh, sorry, I kind of messed that up.
Aviendahl.
Ah, yes, it is. Terrible place. I do not envy you for being from there.
Barovia. Sorry, I'm gonna go out of character here and go. You're from Barovia, and you envy people from.
Also,
you feel sorry people from Thingamy.
Danny, could you send me the correct spelling of the Underdark City, please?
Of course, I'm sorry. I'll say I was very liberal with my spellings when I did things, so I'll send you. It's the bestial fastness.
Thank
Broadness.
you.
Here we go.
It's probably in like.
Yeah, it's so basically it's underground.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, I just
Underground
didn't
city.
forget. Thank you. Have you actually ever been beyond the mist, as you people call it?
No, I've never been myself.
She's
But
gonna.
again, I'm quite young, so I don't, I haven't had much experience in the world. Well, I have and haven't, but, that is a long story. Or a short one. It depends on who's telling it and how I want to tell it.
So it sounds like you're pretty much coming along with us. So let me ask you. Do you know how to fight?
Yes, he pats his rapier. I know a bit about fighting.
Good. I don't need one more body to protect.
Oh, I don't really need your protection so much, but, maybe I could help protect you. I know a few spells.
She cracks her neck and like raises her tail and like points over to the collection of NPCs over there.
Sorry, that's what they're going to be called now, isn't it? The collection of NPCs.
She just points over in that direction, and it's just like, the one with the flaming hair likes to cause trouble. He's also got what is the phrase in common? He's a thin thief, I think is the wording. The princess over there can fight. She's not very good at it. And then you have hero complex over there.
So, KENARI, even the fact that I'm guessing, do you remember their names, Luea?
I
There
know
you go.
Kane. I know Irina.
Kate. I was just wondering, even if you don't remember it, that really works into KENARI's character. She just gives people a nickname. It's like, yo, and you are fiery hair.
So I'd watch your more valuable possessions around him. Although, if he ever does steal anything, he's kind of a coward. You just have to shake him down. And he'll give it back.
Well, that's good to know. I imagine you've pretty good at shaking people down. In addition to having, such a charming magnetic aura, you have, a sense of strength about you that says, "Don't fuck with me."
Are you actively trying to charm her? Or is this just your normal character?
He's kind of just natural like himself, but I guess he's trying to kind of make her be more favorable towards him.
Should we do a roll off?
Sure, I guess for that turn.
Yeah, let's do a persuasion, and I'm gonna give persuasion versus insight, if she can figure it out. One more time, KENARI. Oh, KENARI, he hits you right in the heartstrings with that last comment.
She eyes you. Doesn't really give a response at first. Do you always talk to every female this way?
Just the pretty ones.
Ah. And awkwardly, she kind of looks her head away, and there's this weird, uncomfortable blush of I don't know how, just muttering in Draconic.
Okay. Sid does speak Draconic, so.
Oh, no! What's with all these people speaking Draconic?
I was actually trying to think of his third language. And, there is an order of knights, based off the Blood Dragon order, from Dracula and all that stuff. And Draconic was actually a useful language in Ravenloft and all that stuff.
Draconic is also the Latin of fantasy, so
yeah, it is. It's like the ancient tongue. So it's also I love it. Okay, so you can speak to her in Draconic if you wish.
You kind of wants to know what did she say?
She basically said what's with all the pretty me? I don't understand these people.
He's just going to kind of smile to himself and not let her know that he understood what she said.
Oh, I love it.
She'll clear her throat and regain composure. Not because I just laughed like a honk. Like a goose. I didn't just goose laugh. Anyways, we're trying to get Princess over there to Wallachia.
Valakia.
Thank you. I got him backwards.
It's okay.
To Wallachia at her brother's request. Though I get the feeling. And DM, how are we doing on terms of like any weird, creepy vibes of like beyond the happy and the jovial stuff happening? Has there been any indication that like we're being watched in any sort of way? Because she wants to tune into that right now.
Okay, so watched.
But she doesn't have Dispel Magic. I'm just using basic perception, like
Yeah,
eyes
that's fine.
out, scanning the
Yeah.
tree line.
All right, so do a perception check for me.
Okay.
Okay, so perception is kind of like your general senses. It's like when you notice someone, like you notice like a sound or a sight around you. So I mean, you don't see anything watching you in the surroundings. I mean, it seems like the noise of the camp is probably keeping most of the animal life at bay. You do notice a few of the Vistani seem to pause every now and then, just very hesitantly, in it to you. Nothing looks too nefarious or anything, but there's definitely sometimes a weird lull in conversation. You can't quite put your finger on why it's there.
Okay. Is it more of like a like, oh, it's a dinosaur kind of a lull of like awkward, I don't like, what is that creature kind of a lull? Or is it more of like they're hiding something kind of a lull?
Insight, please.
Okay.
I mean, looking around you look at the one or two that sort of seem to stop talking every now and then, seem to be quite close to you. You get the feeling that you get sort of the general feeling that they're they're close enough that they could be listening to you. You don't know whether they are, but they could probably hear what you're saying.
Oh, okay. She'll lower her voice down just a bit and just go, mostly because Princess has a secret admirer who is, well, apparently not very popular around here.
And it leans back towards her, and kind of whispers back. Do you mean just this camp in general, or Barovia, Wallachia, the whole damn land?
I'm talking about the ones that have the red eyes, that like to go creep in the night and watch you while you sleep. And sometimes, one that likes to visit you in your nightmares.
Ooh.
That he was holding it cool until she said, "Visit you in your nightmares."
Yeah, that would definitely would hit you strong, Zed.
He looks down, like he's clearly a little bit shaken, and on like a reflexive action kind of rubs at his heart, and then after a moment looks back up to her, says, kind of almost in a hollow, like soft voice, "I understand."
I take it you've had a little special visit too. first night we were here, we got quite an unpleasant welcome in Barovia. We haven't really been as welcomed since. So this is a first. And looking around, these people actually look like they're decent enough, although I don't really like the old hag in there.
He swallows really hard as she's talking, especially when she mentions you've had a visit yourself. And when she mentions the woman, he turns his eyes towards the tent that she was in. And, attempting to change the subject, says, yes, she can be a little unnerving, but she's also quite knowledgeable. I'm thinking that what she said has some great importance to us. And as she said, I should probably most likely move along with your group. I think this is a good idea. I think, more is better than less, if you know what I mean.
Considering we are down 2 party members who feel self-sacrifice is the best way to go about things in this life, we'll welcome the extra set of hands. Would ZARRIEL have joined us by now?
Yeah, I'm like that.
I think you've had a lovely long chat. I mean, maybe it took a tiny bit longer for ZARRIEL to get ready. ZARRIEL sort of strides out of the tent now.
I just feel bad because we're having some great RP and I feel bad that Nick hasn't been able to join in,
Nick.
and I'm like,
I've been trying to leave Nick in the background. I apologize.
I purposefully didn't say anything because I was the one talking the majority of the first half of the session, and I felt like, yeah, this should happen. They need to RP.
talking and RP are 2 totally different things. This is team bonding moments, and we need more people to be a part of team bonding moments. This is how you make the party.
You join them, but
so this was
sitting by the fire.
This was something when Xanny was talking to me about my character and stuff. We were talking about how KENARI and Sid would probably likely have a kind of strange bond with each other.
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
So you'd probably hear about. I'm guessing, depending on how Xanny wants you to come back in, but you might hear her talking about William and Karan staying behind because they are self-sacrificing.
Yeah. So you sort of you come out and you see KENARI definitely engaged in conversation with the new individual that you've known for about what point did you come out? Did you come out now, or did you come out before and just sort of wait? I'd say you could come out 5 minutes earlier or so if you want.
No, he came out. He came out when it was mentioned. So basically, as they were finishing up their conversation, ZARRIEL came out.
Great. All right, so you've come out now, ZARRIEL. The gear fits well. It seems to be of good, solid make. I'm quite impressed, actually.
Did they put everything on correctly? Is there anything that looks like they did it slightly? They adjusted it just slightly wrong. How different people tie different corsets.
Have they?
No, it looks fine. They know what they're doing. I mean, if there was anything wrong, maybe one strap maybe was too long for you. They get the adjusting strap like a shorter one, and they sort of replace it. They know what they're doing. They probably fitted a few people before. But he looks good.
I just wanted to check. Okay. Not bad. They at least know what they're doing.
Yeah, I finally understand what my father was rambling on and on about, that if I ever that I would need armor if I go out. This thing feels pretty nice, to be honest. Shall we get going? We can cover some more ground before we set for the night.
Well, we'll have to check with Her Royal Highness. She didn't look too good when we entered the camp.
The goat. And she looks towards. I forgot the name of the goat.
Oh, Daisy?
Daisy.
Yeah. Are you referring to her? And she
No.
points to Daisy.
No. Oh.
You're just the princess. I love it.
No. I'm talking about our little escort. I don't think she's.
You're the escort. She's the escortee
Oh, okay. Sorry. Sometimes
because you're moving her around.
grammar's sometimes like, oh, that's a word. It's like alumna and alumni for me.
Yeah.
We'll have to check in with our escortee. She doesn't seem like she's accustomed to walking this much. And KENARI will like turn and walk over to the collection.
Maybe we should get the camel for her.
Zaro turns toward the guy selling the camel. How much least?
What, my camel?
Yes, your camel.
Ah, he is a strong beast. I would say, let me think, 50 gold.
He turns towards Vlad. I would say that's a little too much.
How much for the donkey?
For Barnaby?
You offered the donkey earlier. What are you hedging now? Are you saying no? You
It's
won't take the
just
donkey?
that he's out in the field. I would have to go get him. It's okay. I will take me no time at all. The donkey, that's like 8 gold pieces.
Okay, the donkey. I am sold.
So he sort of like whistles through his teeth, and this little boy sort of runs up to him. Clavish, go and find Barnaby. He is grazing with the animals. Bring him back here, and I will give you a shiny copper coin. Oh yes, okay, Papa. Sort of runs off. Comes back with,
Sorry, go ahead.
with the donkey in about 5 minutes.
So he takes 8 gold coins out of his pouch, and he holds on to them until the donkey arrives.
Yes, the donkey arrives. Little Barnaby. He's not huge. He's not a huge animal. He could be ridden. Quite not quite as fast as like a riding horse, but can carry a decent weight. And so he sort of looks at it and he sort of says, so this is Barnaby. You can change his name, of course, if you wish. We picked him up. Oh, it was a lovely old woman who was trying to sell several of her animals, and this fine donkey is one that we got from her for a good price. Yes, as I said, 8 gold, and would you be wanting a bridle? Maybe a bit to ride? I can sell a saddle too.
How much for the saddle?
Oh, let me see. Are you expecting to ride?
No, he turns and looks back and points towards the arena, and she will be the one riding.
See, I just asked because there are different types of saddle. A riding saddle will cost you 10 gold. Very well, it is. It will help you. Together, and we shall say 20 gold for the donkey, a very, very nice riding saddle, and a nice and the bridle.
Sid kind of shakes his head and blows out a breath. Okay, 20 gold it is. I don't know you think the donkey is less than the saddle, but hey, it's what they do.
The saddle is a proper. He shows you, and it's a nice piece of work. This is a very comfortable saddle. It's made stitched leather. It's got beautiful sort of like decorations around, made by my wife. She is all the decorations hand stitched by my wife. It is a beautiful piece of work. I could not let it go for less than 10 gold. She spent 2 months making it. You must have some heart for a poor merchant trying to make his way in the world.
He kind of rolls his eyes a little bit and pulls out 20 gold and passes over to her. Yes, I'm sure Her Royal Highness would not want to sit on a craftsmanship saddle, so we will take it.
So yeah, he passes it over to you. He passes it over to you, and sort of like you're handing over the money. Another Vistani man comes up and he sort of puts his hand around the man's shoulder and he goes, "You have sold the saddle, yes? Yes, I have sold the saddle at last. Yes, you yes. Okay. Well, it is good that we have removed this object from our itinerary. We do not have enough. It is a beautiful piece, but it takes up the room, and it was made by that. Yes, yes. Well, do not call my old wife a hag. They're having a conversation back and forth. Then they sort of then the man sort of chuckles, kisses the other man on top of the head. Says, "But it was good. I met you this way." They sort of like walk.
So Sid carries the shoulder, the saddle over his shoulder and leads the donkey on over to the group and tells him, "I have secured a ride for the princess, so that she may not have to burden her feet by walking and get swords and make her feet look unsightly. It would not do well."
Karina looks affronted. There's his donkey in front of her. She's just sitting there. You expect me to ride this thing?
You can walk if you choose to, and I could ride the donkey. They don't
She-
exactly have horses here.
Yeah, as sort of pats the donkey on sort of like on the flank. What is his name?
Wanna be, but he said you can change it to whatever you want. Whatever you want to name him, he's his name.
Of course, a
You can
donkey
even give him a
Barnaby.
girl name if you want. It doesn't matter. It's not exactly like he's going to know and get mad if you give him girl name.
Of course, a donkey Barnaby. Apparently, a DM were to make up a name on the fly. I will call him. I will call him. He will. I will call him Roma. If he's going to move around a lot, he will roam. I will call him Roma.
Oh, that is very clever of you. I see your tongue is as sharp and beautiful as you are.
There is a hint of a blush on as she sort of like takes the takes the donkey, sort of walks it back a bit, and starts sort of like okay, so now you have a donkey, a riding beast for it can move 40 feet, and it can carry up to 420 pounds. Although if you wanted to carry things properly, you'll have to give it some saddlebags so that it can properly carry your gear for you. So yes, you have Roma the donkey, and you have half plate for you already sorted. Is there anything else you guys wanted to buy before you move on?
Yes,
I think we're
Sid
good.
wants to buy some silk rope.
Okay. All right. So I think so. Let me just check, but I believe you are correct. Yep. Yep.
All right.
All right. So you have some silk, 50 feet long. Actually, no. It would not cost you 10 gold. It would cost you 9 gold. Off. In that case, the donkey would actually cost you 18 gold. Because remember, you got 10% off everything. Okay, and is there anything else you'd like to buy before you head off?
Looking through, but probably not.
by the way, does everybody have a sleeping bag? Because if you don't, then you're not going to be able to rest very well outside. I need to just double check that because if you don't have a proper bedroll sleeping bag, then I'll have to start looking at maybe applying. You don't get proper sleep after a certain number of days.
Yeah, I have a bedroll.
I have a bedroll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's got a
I think
bedroll.
I think we all took an explorer's pack, if I'm not mistaken. And that automatically comes with bedroll.
What did
Or
it
an
get?
engineer pack.
I took entertainer's pack, but yeah, same thing.
I
you
think
got a
pretty much all
bedroll.
packs come with a bedroll. I think there's only like
Not all of them. I don't think the dungeon. Just the dungeon. Yeah, dungeon's pack doesn't come with one.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. And okay, so you'll be leaving the Vistani camp, and you'll have to head back up towards the. Are you going to be heading? Sorry, I apologize. I need to ask you. Do you want to be heading back up the road towards the turning point, the gallows, which should take you down to Balaki?
Isn't that the only way to go to?
There is, I believe, another way. Just let me double check the map. Yeah. You can actually sort of follow the river. Let's say you talk to one of the Vistani, like how to get back to the main road, and they'll sort of point out you can actually take a route through the river, which will take you to their pools or close to them, and that will help you join back. But you have to take the muddy path, passing alongside the river.
I say we take the river path. I feel like the main path might be easier.
Easier to what?
Well, if it's easy for us, it makes it easy for everybody else.
Yeah, it's also shorter.
It is a shorter path. If you go this way, you won't have to go through the forest. Literally, just follow the.
All right, but if we get attacked by bandits, I'm not responsible.
Okay.
You're responsible
All right,
for
guys.
yourself and the arena. Nothing else.
Excellent. Right, so you pack up the whole group. Rena sort of saddles up on Roma. Perrin sort of takes the lead and sort of is jostled by Kane. He grabs the rope to lead the donkey, and so he grabs the bridle, sort of to saying, "I'll lead that way. You don't have to keep holding on to it all the time." Which is like back and the way I can ride myself, young man. And but he sort of like stands sort of like close to the flank, sort of close to the donkey. Kane sort of stands up, armor sort of all sort of shining. Raises his shield, takes his sword, and sort of stands there. Have we all done what we wish to do here? Moving on our way.
Yes.
Good. These are fine folk, but rather too loud and rowdy for my kind of people. Give me a good tavern any day. At least then you can sit on a chair.
And KENARI will take the lead and head everybody back to the main road.
Timus sort of like catches up on his little flying car. I managed to get myself nice berries and ingredients to flavored souffle. And if you don't mind, guys, that's where we're going to end the session today. It's 2 in the morning for me, and I have to go to bed.
No, that's awesome. It seems like a good place to.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. I hope you had fun. I had fun. Thank you so much for joining us, Shadow. Do you think you'll stick with us?
Oh, absolutely. I enjoyed it a lot. There's actually a friend of mine that was watching the stream is thinking about possibly joining, and she likes to play healer characters, and she kind of perked up when you mentioned needing a healer.
Heck yeah.
That's perfect. We still have a few slots left, so that's
Nick's
great.
just like, We sold the diamond. Are you joking?
Nick's like on the ground now. No.
No.
Well, Nick, but at least with that Nick, with that armor, you won't need it as much because you won't go down and get hit as often.
No, I am just tell her that if she comes, she better join us before we hit level 5 because
You got a while to go before you get
upon me. Please be upon me.
He's like, I'm going to multi-class again.
She hasn't played 5e before, so she's kind of looking. She does not sure if she wants to play a druid or a cleric. I think she should go cleric.
No, utility is really high. If you want to play good utility characters, they're really easy to mess up.
Well,
if you
I
want to,
mean-
yeah.
No. Okay, let's not go into character building online. I'm sure that's a conversation we can have in Discord and chat like between sessions. The building of characters. Maybe that's a separate session we could have. That'd be interesting, like how to make a cool character. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, viewers. Thank you so much to all the players for being such great sports and fantastic role playing tonight. It's quite nice to sort of have you guys chatting because we've had a lot of fighting recently. So to see you guys have a bit of chatting, a bit of interaction has been fun. My throat is really killing me from all the voices I've done. So I need to go and drink something soothing, maybe a cup of tea, which I don't have. Only tea. A coffee maybe, and I would say to everyone, thank you so much for viewing. We have just quickly say a thank you to our sponsors and our patrons, Basis Operations, Gavin, Cliff, also known as Plutonium, Kevin, one of our old players, Callum, It's Just Bob, and Fred Sick. I feel really bad. And also Plutonium OD and Caleb Faye. Thank you so much for your support. Before we go, just a quick. I'm sorry to do this. A quick plug. Meeple Palace has completed its first issue of our magazine, which is going on sale tomorrow, on the 4th. Oh, sorry, on Monday. On Monday. It's only €2, but a lot of love went into it. So if you fancy supporting the channel that way, that would be really welcome. Some lovely interviews from members of the community, people like Basis, how to make your own washes, how to do some D&D tips for online play from Gavin, board game reviews, building Warhammer armies, all sorts of stuff in there. And it was a labour of love. So if you fancy that as another way you can support us, you don't have to. It's up to you. But we would love it if you did. And so that's my final plug. I suppose I should just say roll on to glory, guys, and we hope to see you in our next session. Bye-bye.